Hello, my name is Denise Galoni. 3 years ago, I started my own home-based business. I realized there were so many wonderful women that helped me along the way. I wanted to introduce you to some of these women on this show, Empowering Women. In today's episode, you're going to meet Jacqueline Capitola, who owns Jacqueline's Salon, and also Beth Caldwell of Beth Caldwell Communications. Both of these women are going to give you some important information and great information to help enrich your lives. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I'm here with Jacqueline Capitola, the owner of Jacqueline's Salon and Spa. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Denise.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Can you tell us a little bit about your salon?
Yes, the salon was established in 1994 in November, so it's coming up on an anniversary real soon.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm real excited about that. I originally had two salons, or I originally had another salon, and then I had two for a while. It's Jacqueline's House of Beauty. It was located in the South Hills area of Pittsburgh, and I had both for a while, that one plus the one downtown in the Grant Building. But now I'm just at the one in the Grant Building.
Okay. What type of services do you offer at your salon?
We have a wide range of services. We do everything. We're full service day spa salon, so we offer anything with hair, makeup, nails. We have facials, we have body facials, which is like a body massage that I kind of created that's unique to the salon. And we do spa parties, we do all kinds of different things. Bridal work, we do runway and editorial shoots for magazines, and lots of fun things like that too.
Speaking about magazine, you write for a magazine, don't you?
I do. I write for Inspiring Lives magazine, and this is my article, my column called Just Jackie. So with Just Jackie, it is an inspirational shoot that we do. We try to do it seasonally, and the magazine comes out every season, so we are part of that, and Just Jackie puts a column in there. I write about something in particular that touches me at that moment, that time, and right now I think it's a lot about inner beauty and how women see themselves. So this little story is about the reflection of how you see yourself as a woman and growing in business and your life.
I recently sat in a presentation you did about finding your beauty inside out. Can you tell us what inspired you to create that?
Well, Inside Out was inspired along with my daughter. We started that a long time ago in my business. I've been doing mentoring to the students and helping students in the beauty. That's where it started with. Helping students in the beauty industry at beauty schools. We've been doing a lot of the mentoring there. So we go into the schools and we help students and we help them grow and give them ideas on different ways that they can approach this industry. But along with that came my daughter, who I always wanted her to be in the industry with me. So she is doing a lot of help as far as like giving women the beauty from the inside, and I give the beauty from the outside. Okay. We both do both of it, but I work on the hair, the makeup, and she works with kind of how they feel inside. So we've been doing a lot of workshops and little spa parties and different things together, working together to bring this for women to just feel better, feel more, excited about things, and not be so much caught up in how you have to look or how you should look, but just how you should feel.
What would you say to the women that are watching Jackie that may not feel beautiful? And maybe they can't put enough money in their budgets to go out and buy these new beauty products that everybody's talking about. Yeah. How could they feel beautiful from the inside out?
I think there's a lot of ways that they can do that, but I think just from being in this industry for so long, I have had a lot of women in my chair. And being behind the chair is such a powerful place. We have so many women that just are going through divorce. They're going through a lot of ups and downs in their life, maybe grieving. We teach them ways to just feel better, and you don't need money to do all that. You don't need money to feel better. You just need to have a lot of more self-confidence, self-love, just, anything deep inside of you that you feel you just need to bring that out. And once you start feeling better about yourself, then you look better and you feel better. You don't have to worry about how a picture looks or how a model looks and comparing yourself to that. I think when women stop doing that is when they're going to really get to the next level of where they need to be.
I agree. Just be happy with who you are.
Just be happy who you are. Exactly.
And you have a lot of products that you sell in your salon also.
Yes, so we have a whole line of Christmas. Christmas is coming up. So we have a line of products that we're selling in the salon. We have body scrubs, body lotions. This is Arbonne. We just introduced this to the salon. My daughter is into the wellness, and Arbonne is very much pure, safe, and beneficial. The products are all plant-based, so they're healthy for you. They won't harm you. There's no chemicals or anything like that in them. So that's kind of like the inside out, you know, going as well. She started this part of it in the salon. This is part of our wellness program.
Okay.
So there's a lot of, you know, different little cute little things. And they come in these packaged cute little boxes. You can use them for Christmas or even after, I believe, because they're just like dots, like little polka dots. So they can be used for other times during the year too. And what I'm really proud about is the Just Jackie lipstick.
Yeah, let's tell the audience about your Just Jackie products.
So along with the Just Jackie column, I wanted to go ahead and do a product that kind of went with it. And what better product than lips? So I started it with lips, and we have a wide range of colors that we, you know, have for the salon. You can order it through the salon, you can order it through me, or you can get it at the salon if you wanted to come in there. We have our fall collection out now with the different colors. So it's wonderful. There's glosses, there's mattes, so whatever you want. This is for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You can use it for Christmas.
I will, thank you. So you have your products, you have your salon, you write for Inspiring Lives magazine. You also wrote a book.
I did. I wrote a book. Now this was printed and made in 2012. This was developed and published. This book kind of sums up everything that I just talked to you about. So where I'm going with my mission with the salon is Jacqueline's Inside Out program. Feel beautiful from the inside out.
Right.
That is our slogan. So this book is just the life and journey of how I got there. When I was a little girl playing with Barbies, I knew that I wanted to do this industry. It was something that kind of stuck out to me, and I was really excited about it. So I just kept going, and I wrote little notes, and I just wrote papers down and just kept them in, like, just little hand notes. So some of the hand notes are in here, and that's what turned this into a book. This is just notes of different things that I did throughout that time. And it's just a great little inspiring little book that somebody can use for a reference, or they could use for, you know, the salon. They can use to you know, mentor somebody, or they can also just have it as a little, you know, pick-me-up type of thing for them to, you know, just read it and listen and look at it and get some ideas and inspiration.
That's great. So what's next for Jackie Capitola?
There's so much going on. So I'm trying to still go with this inside out theme. I love it. I think that it's really making a stand in the world. It's funny because I hear the slogan inside out a lot all over the place, but I've actually been saying it and doing it for like since the beginning of my business. So I like that it's just getting so popular, and a lot of people are really expanding that to their own businesses. It's great to be able to share that with a lot of people and just let people know that, you know, you just have to just be yourself and be you. So the salon is we're adding stylists. We've been expanding. We renovated a couple years ago. We've added some new stylists, and the stylists are actually students that I mentored. They come back. That's nice. It's really, really nice. I'm so excited about that. So we're doing that. I'm out networking, doing things like this. Who knows where this can lead? You never know. You
never know.
I love to see what happens from it. And I love that I'm getting to work with my daughter. I've always wanted to work with her in this business. At first, she was never really interested in this part of it when she was younger. And of course, I wanted her to be. But now she is.
Well, that's good.
So she's 30. She's just had 2 babies. I'm a grandma now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, yeah, so we're having a lot of fun with that. And this has given her time to be able to stay home with her children and expand and help me, but also help her. So,
that's great.
Yeah, so I'm hoping this, you know, I can get this going a little bit more with the Inside Out.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to
Thank
be here
you.
today out of your busy schedule
Yes.
and help the audience and share all this information.
Thank you, Denise. I loved hanging out with you. It was
Oh,
wonderful.
thanks, Jackie.
Thank you.
I'm here with Beth Caldwell of Beth Caldwell Communications, better known as Pittsburgh Professional Women. Hi, Beth.
Hello.
Thank you for being here today. I know how busy you are.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're an author, a speaker, a business success strategist, host of Pittsburgh Biz TV show, founder of Pittsburgh Professional Women and Leadership Academy, and a global instructor for the Steve Harvey Success Institute. How do you find time for anything?
Well, the important thing is that's a lot to do, but I don't do it all at the same time.
That's right.
Yes. And it's one has built upon the other.
Right. And I want to start by saying, when I first decided to create the show, they asked me if I was going to bring on people that inspired me and helped me. And immediately I thought of you.
Oh,
So
thank you.
because you have throughout the years helped me all the time and gave me positivity. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, that's great. And look, how great. That's
Look
great.
how great. That's right. You were right. You have a new book out.
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
I do. So I have this is my 7th book.
Yes.
This book is called From Frantic to Focused. And this is the first book that I've done, Denise, that is not about business. So it was a bit uncomfortable for me to write because it shares my personal challenges and the things that I've overcome. The book, it is about me, but it's tips on how to shift your life out of frantic to focused. And for so many years, I did do it all at the same time, all in the same day. And I got myself really worn out. And I see a lot of women doing the same thing, beating themselves up, comparing themselves to other people, not happy with what they're doing. And so that was the inspiration for the book. This was the hardest book I've written so far because in the past it's all been about business strategy, leadership strategy, and it was a little bit uncomfortable, I have to tell you.
It's a great book.
Thank you.
Now, when someone reads that book, do they have to start at the beginning and follow the steps all the way through, or can they just skip around?
No, you know what? Here I have given 10 strategies in this book. 10 strategies that I incorporated in my crazy, chaotic life. And they were the things that I needed the most. So you don't have to incorporate all 10. You definitely don't have to do all 10 at the same time. And this is a book and a workshop when I do it that really doesn't have to go in order. You can flip through here and say, for example, be careful about taking advice. If that's the thing you're struggling with right now, if you're taking advice from everyone or slow down your multitasking mind. You know, there's a big trend about mindfulness and
Right.
being mindful. And a lot of times I'll talk about mindfulness and people are not exactly sure what I mean. And I say, how about one thing at a time instead of stop the multitasking? And every woman can identify with that. You know, multitasking is a superpower, but we only need to use our superpowers in case of emergency most of the time.
That's great advice. Are there some strategies that are easier to follow or to implement?
It depends on what your issue is. So if your issue is multitasking and you've been doing that your entire life, that is not something that you can shift that to the next day. But let's say your problem is, one thing is doing things for other people or taking advice from everyone and trying to please. You know, these are not necessarily, some are easier to change than others, but most of these are habits that we've been doing for our entire lives. So I always tell people awareness is the first step. And then you can catch yourself when you do it again. And then hopefully soon you'll catch yourself before you do it.
Right. And you're living proof of that. 'Cause I know you've said at one time in your life, the crisis time, you were up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes you didn't go to bed at all, trying to get everything done. How did you change that? And what's your work day like now?
So here's the thing. I did pride myself for a long time on going on very little sleep, very little food, and having the busiest, most packed calendar of all of my friends. That was a source of pride for me, that busyness badge. So you can get away with that in your 20s and 30s, but when you get to your late 30s and your 40s, your body does not allow you to do that anymore.
That's
So
up to
I
you.
got very sick. And I didn't get a little bit sick because I didn't just go to bed a little bit late. Sometimes I didn't go to bed at all. So I got really sick. That was my wake-up call. And what happened was I went from having a very busy, overbooked life and a very successful business, and certainly there was money in the bank account, but the money was always gone at the end of the month. It was just, I was keeping up. When I shifted my life and started doing less and working less and being more intentional about what I was doing, I started making more money and having more success in my career. So my life now is what I always envisioned it to be. I'm a writer. That's what I dreamed about my whole life. I get to write for a newspaper, for a magazine. I have books. I get to speak on stages. And sometimes I get up at 6 in the morning, but sometimes I don't have to get up until 9 or 9:30 if I don't want to. And I get to go out to lunch with people and visit people on TV shows.
Right.
This is what happens. You do achieve your goals when you stop worrying about what other people think. And what if I can't do it? When you can get rid of those two thoughts, I think the biggest problem in America today is this crisis of what do other people think of me? I think that is the biggest disaster to the American woman. If we could just stop saying, we say, I want to write a book, I want to start a business, I want to send a bunch of money to a missionary, I want to, whatever it is that you want to do. And the first next thought is, oh, what will they say? What will they think? And then we get ourselves caught and we can't do it. I think that's a disaster.
I agree. Do you think that's a common obstacle women face?
I think it's an obstacle that women face in business and personal life. I think that women get married. I think that women don't get divorced. I think that women make huge mistakes because they're so worried about what other people will think in all areas of our lives.
Yeah. Beth, what advice do you have to women that are maybe watching that are just so overwhelmed? They don't know what to do. They have maybe a career, a family, they're trying to make ends meet. Maybe they're a single mother. What advice do you have?
So if you're in overwhelm, I want you to remember that you can do it all. I think that the biggest issue that women have, and certainly the one thing I would like to change about, the only one thing that I would change about my life was how hard I was on myself in my 20s and 30s. And that critical voice, you should, you didn't, you could, those kind of things. That is the one thing that I wish I would have acknowledged what I had done and what I was doing, because I missed that because I was so busy reaching for the next goal or the next challenge or the next obstacle, whatever it was. So look, we all have obstacles. We all have crises in our life. Mine was an illness. For some people, it's the death or a loss of a job or a breakup or a disappointment, right? But my best advice for you is you can do it all, but stop trying to do it all at the same time. So one thing at a time, focus and enjoy your achievements when you achieve them. That's one thing I'd love to change about everybody.
Myself included, because that's the thing, you need to appreciate what you've done. Look back and say, I did all this, but sometimes we don't. We say, we didn't get this done, or we didn't get that done.
Exactly. We focus on what we didn't do instead of recognizing our accomplishments.
We have to shift, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yes.
that was a workshop I went to that you put on called Shift.
Right.
And you have a workbook that you did called Shift?
This is my next project. So, as a writer, as a business strategist, things are always going. So from Frantic to Focused, we're on tour doing this. We're teaching workshops all over the country on From Frantic to Focused. This has been, as I said, it was personal. It was hard. So I can sit and write about business and it flows out of me because I'm talking about you.
Right.
Here's how you can succeed. When I started talking about myself and the mistakes that I made, that didn't flow as easily as
Well,
a
we don't
writer.
want to admit our mistakes.
No. But as it turns out, women are so resonating with this and they see themselves in the words. And so I get tearful thank yous. And I walk into a restaurant the other day and somebody said, I read your book 3 times. And I thought, oh my goodness. And she said, it's so much like me. It's so much like me. And it's really been helpful. And my boyfriend, Paul, and my kids are mentioned in this book. And so I had a woman the other day said, so I was saying something to my husband and I wasn't finishing any of my sentences, because that's what we do, that multitasking. We can think of so many things.
Right.
So she was saying, I wasn't finishing any of my sentences. My husband said, I'm not Paul, So people are really, really clicking with this. They're resonating with it. They're seeing themselves in it. So it turns out that my risk of being vulnerable was a good risk to take. Yes.
It's going to help a lot of women.
Yes. So the next project is the Shift workbook. So this is in, you can't see this now, but over here there is a huge pile of papers from my editor. So after I leave here today, we're in the edit process of the Shift workbook. So this is a workbook, and this is for business women, and it's for the women who have a business and they're a little bit stuck and they're spending a lot of time on social media and Facebook, and they're trying to grow their business that way. And that social media and the internet has been fabulous for those of us who own businesses. It has allowed us to have a business without having to have a brick and mortar building, but it's getting a little crowded.
Yeah.
It's getting a little crowded, it's getting a little cluttered, and it's not filled with people of integrity anymore. And so Shift is about how to step out of what we've been doing, the advice that I've given people, email newsletters and YouTube videos and social media, and getting back to a little bit of the basics of business and shifting into a way of positioning yourself for success. And so this will begin in January. I'm very excited about it.
That's great. It was a great workshop, so I can't
Thank
wait
you.
for people to read that. I mentioned Pittsburgh Professional Women.
Sure.
Could you just talk a little bit about that and just let the audience know what that is?
So Pittsburgh Professional Women is something that I created in 2004, 2005. It's so interesting,
wow.
Denise. I went into a restaurant called Panera in 2003, right? And people would come into Panera and they would say, do you have to pay for this room? And what kind of food do they have here? And I think it's so interesting now. Panera is a part of our our everyday language. Everybody knows what a Panera is.
Right.
But we started in Panera in 2003, meeting with women, a small group of women. Our first meeting had 11, our second meeting had 30, and we kept growing and growing. And it is not a networking group. It's not a place where you come and give your business card and say, here's what I'm selling. It's a place where women can get together, and we do education, inspiration, motivation in every event. So before Pittsburgh Professional Women, in order to get something like that, you really had to go to get the quality of education and to get inspiration all at the same time. You had to leave town and pay a lot of money and take days off of work.
Yeah.
I had 2 small children at home, and I didn't have the time, I didn't have the money, so I created it here. I really enjoy having local speakers because our town is awesome.
Oh, it is.
We have so much success here in town, and I like to, instead of going to New York City or Las Vegas and paying money to hear from a speaker there, I like to really showcase what we have here in Pittsburgh, the talent and the success we have here. And that's what we do. It's a very exciting, it's a very highly energetic group of people.
Speaking about success, you do some work with Steve Harvey and his Success Academy.
I do, yes.
How did that even come about?
So that came about, and I'll tell you, it did come about from taking a risk. You know, many years ago, I wanted to attend a workshop in Washington, D.C., and it was expensive. And I couldn't afford, I probably could have afforded the tickets, but I would have had to sacrifice something else. So I signed up and applied to be a speaker at the event. So then I wouldn't have to pay for the event. Yeah. And I got a lot of criticism because it was an expensive event to go to. I did have to leave town for 3 or 4 days. The hotel room in Washington, D.C. was really pricey. It was way out of my budget. But I put on a charge card. I took the risk. I felt an intuition or a drive that I should be there. And when I was speaking on stage, somebody from Steve Harvey's team was there, and as his new book came out, my title, at the time I was teaching a workshop called Success Academy for Women, so there was some synergy, and his book was Act Like a Success, and that was in 2014 when his book came out. And I got invited to speak at his Act Like a Success conference the next year in Washington, D.C., because I took that risk. And then it just continued on, and it goes every year. It's a great program.
That's an amazing story.
Take a risk.
Take a risk. You have to take a risk.
And don't listen to other people's advice, because a lot of people advise me not to go.
But you had that feeling, you had that intuition that you should go and do it.
Trust your intuition, absolutely. Trust your intuition. And it was hard driving down there the first time, because I'm somebody who wants to please other people. So when other people were criticizing me for going and not being paid to speak, and I felt a conflict, but I did it anyway.
And look how well it turned out.
Yes, it's a good thing.
You do so much for helping women, Beth. What's next? Besides your Shift book coming out,
there's
what's
always
next?
something new happening. So
I know.
The Shift workbook is coming out, and then I have my Leadership Academy for Women, which I have taken a leave of absence sort of on, a hiatus from, so that's coming back in 2018. The Shift program and my coaching program for women and retreats. I've done a few retreats and I miss them, so we'll be doing some women's retreats in 2018.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yes, I'm excited.
You're always busy, and we're going to have your contact information. People can follow you on Facebook. I know you put a lot of great information on there.
Yeah, a great place for people to follow me is if you are on Facebook, I have a group called From Frantic to Focused, and that is a place where it's only positive news, inspiration every day.
And I think we need that.
Yes, we all
There's
need
so
that.
much
we all need a little bit of
negativity
that.
around us.
We can
It's
get
great
the
to focus
negativity anywhere.
on positivity
Sure.
and inspiration. Any final thoughts?
You can't do it all. You can't do it all at the same time. And stop worrying what other people think.
And I hear you say that all the time. That's all. You're always in my head. I can do it all. I just can't do it all right now.
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time. But thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here and to share your wisdom with all the women watching.
Denise, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching today's episode of Empowering Women. I'd like to thank my guests, Jacqueline Capitola of Jacqueline's Salon, who gave information on how you can feel beautiful from the inside out, and Beth Caldwell of Beth Caldwell Communications, better known as the founder of Pittsburgh Professional Women. Beth gave you information on how you can go from feeling frantic to being focused in your lives. I hope this show inspires you to follow your dreams. Thank you for watching and see you next time.